I think the new motto for War Thunder should be, and then it got worse, because frankly, that's how it feels. So about a week ago, I put up a video regarding the upcoming economy changes to the game, which focused on changes to how activity worked, how you earn silver lions, things like that, particularly around sim games. The testing sessions raised some concerns. In top-tier jet games, the high repair costs were still far too large compared to the new earnings, even though the repair costs themselves had been reduced. The overall earnings per hour felt almost on par when using jets, but in lower-tier games with prop aircraft, the earnings were considerably worse than anything we had seen before. With testing the new economy changes for Sim, Gaijin opened up a thread for players to provide some feedback and suggestions for improvements to the game mode on the forums, which in hindsight is hilarious considering the situation we now find ourselves in. It's a shame the feedback was completely ignored because people had some really good ideas for improving this update to the game mode, which would address its issues without completely butchering the earnings for players. Overall, I was pretty neutral on the whole topic, but I was erring on the side of optimism when the first round of testing began. As usual, that optimism was completely misplaced, and once again we have War Thunder becoming the best free advertisement that IL-2 and DCS could ever dream for. I really want to ask them, what's the point of doing a test for new and upcoming economy changes for the game when you ignore all of the feedback provided by the players who took part in said test anyway? Oh right, yes, it's because that's Gaijin's MO, of course it is, right. Now, the earnings in Sim have been completely and utterly wrecked to the point where you might as well just play custom games instead, at least you won't have to worry about the repair costs there. To show you what I mean, let's have a look at some quick screenshots that have been sent to me from people who have been playing Sim for the past couple of days. So, game number 1. This player earned 31,000 silver lions in an hour, but due to repair costs they only got 2,400 of that and 7,200 RP. This was with a premium account, for an hour of gameplay. Game 2. Another example here. This person managed to get 17 kills and 6 deaths, a fairly healthy scoreboard by the end of it, and they only made 11,000 after repair costs. 11,000. Game 3. Another game here. 10 player kills, no deaths, premium account, so they should be earning a lot, but oh look, only 37,000 silver lions after repair costs. The fact that a 2-hour sim session now makes less than what you can earn in a 20-minute RB game is of extreme concern, and you also need to consider that these results come from relatively good games and very good players. If the rewards are this bad for veteran players in the game, then I don't really want to contemplate what it will be like for less experienced or newer players. At the moment it seems that the only games where you can still make semi-good earnings are the EC6 and EC7 lobbies. Anything below that and you'll be struggling to progress at even a fraction of the pace you used to, unless of course you have a premium account and a premium plane. So there it is, the only way to progress in Sim now is to spend money in a free-to-play game. Good job Gaijin, well done. Moving on. Now I guess my biggest question here is, how did they mess this up so badly? Our feedback was overwhelmingly against any overall reduction in rewards, especially as there had already been several notable reductions in the past 2 years. Our feedback we gave said that the 15-minute activity windows was not well suited to Sim. You sometimes spend in excess of 15 minutes in between dogfights in quieter games. Why should players get actively punished for playing an unpopulated game? Surely it should even be the other way around. We also told Gaijin that the rewards for tasks in Sim have to be reworked to make the game more appealing to players. Kills need to earn players a good reward. Escorting and helping bomber formations should give you some sort of reward, and destroying ground targets should have a big increase in rewards as well, as they are currently pitiful. In the forum topic discussing the new economy changes, I saw several excellent suggestions that would go a long way to improving the game mode. However, the only thing that Gaijin appears to have addressed is the way that activity is recorded, and even then, there is a caveat. So in the first round of testing, in a sim game we were only averaging about 50 to 60% activity at best, which we thought was the reason why the rewards were suffering so much. That has since been changed. However, Gaijin has obviously decided to nerf something else at the same time and not tell us, because we can't suddenly be getting 95% battle activity again, doing well in a game, and then still getting piss poor rewards if there wasn't some sort of change done behind closed doors. They say that the economy change is their solution to fixing people exploiting the game mode with bot accounts. Take a hard look. We've been talking about this issue for years, and there have been many suggestions for fixing this that don't involve ruining rewards in the game mode in general. To me, it shows that they just don't seem to care about the game mode, and I think that a lot of people at Gaijin probably see Sim and its small but vocal community as a nuisance that it just wants to be rid of at the end of the day. I don't think Gaijin needs to worry about the Sim player base growing if killing it is their intention. If people with a 5-to-1 KD can barely break even, then new or below average players have no chance of improving in a game that gives you crippling punishments for mistakes. I'd hate to be a new player learning Sim right now in War Thunder. Not because the gameplay itself is bad, but because there would be almost no progression and I'd be forced to play other game modes simply to make up the silver lines that I lose in each flyout. If you want an example of how to be a bad game developer in terms of communication and PR, and how to push away your player base, this is the example you should follow. This is how you kill a game, and this is how you piss off a player base very quickly. If things don't change, and soon, I do foresee a fairly large exodus to other sim games. I know a lot of people watching this are already moving on to them as it is. Those of you who have followed my channel for a while will have noticed that I am producing a lot more IL-2 content than before, and that's something that I definitely intend to maintain going forward. If you're into Warbirds, it's a game I would definitely recommend, and if you're into more modern air combat-y stuff, then DCS is definitely worth a look as well. Though it does come with a steep learning curve, you are rewarded with being able to control full fidelity aircraft where all of the buttons and switches are interactive, which makes for a very immersive experience. Now, a lot of people have said, why even bother with War Thunder Sim when IL-2 and DCS are objectively better? IL-2 and DCS are amazing games, no doubt about it, but for the average player, War Thunder has provided a more accessible sim experience. Not everybody has dozens of hours to spare each week learning how to operate a modern fighter like an F-16. Not everyone can set aside a large chunk of time in an evening for a long sim session. Many people have other commitments: work, family, study, other hobbies, other games, and War Thunder offers us a quick plug-in and play option that I have not seen in any other sim game that is currently available. It's because of this that I still enjoy War Thunder, and why a lot of people do as well. This is a game that has massive potential, but that potential always feels wasted. The game has a huge monopoly on the fact that there aren't any real rivals in the semi-sim market, at least not yet anyway. Aside from having no real alternative yet, I also stay around for the community. War Thunder is accessible, and because it's so accessible, more people play it, and I've met some fantastic people during my time here. I've built up a little community of my own that I value dearly, and that's the reason why I think a lot of people still play the game. It's not for the game itself, but rather the people you play with, whilst you wait for a better alternative to arrive. And I think that's where we're at this point. I think a lot of us are just waiting for a better alternative to arrive. Now, as of next week, I am back at university for another semester, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. I'm loving my degree. I definitely am enjoying it a lot. Now, it will of course mean a reduction in content for the next 14 weeks as I prioritize my studies, etc, stressing about exams, caffeine addiction, and so forth. But I do hope to knock out 1 or 2 videos per week depending on my workload. I'm also going to spend some free time working on some other personal projects and hobbies, one of which is composing music, something you may hear more about in the future if I can get a specific project finished in due time. Now, considering everything that's been going on with War Thunder recently, don't be surprised if I favour producing IL-2 content until my summer break, or winter break for you people in the Northern Hemisphere. Anyway, that's the plan for the next 14 weeks. Try and knock out a video, 1 or 2 a week, probably going to be leaning more towards IL-2 for the foreseeable future. But anyway, I think that's quite enough ranting and raving from me. Again, I am in danger of making this a weekly thing at this rate now that I think about it, but I hope you're all doing very well out there, and as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Goodbye.